Hello, friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel Simply Stocks. And today I'm going to talk about interglobe aviation, a very interesting stock and considered as the best airline stock here in India, which is listed. So let's understand whether you should buy at these levels and what lies ahead for the company. So let's get started. First of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation. People taking any position into any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research, and I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. Before I start with Interglobal Aviation, here's a small request that kindly support me on Patreon, and through your support and all your contribution, it would help me a great deal to continue with the YouTube channel, posting videos every day and putting in more interesting views on different stocks and companies. And from Patreon, you'll be able to ask me questions on your portfolios, on your investments, and your future outlook exclusively with me with different tiers. Even a $2 a month contribution would go a long way in helping me continue with the channel. Now about Interglobe Aviation, this was established in 1989, and this is into the business of airlines and aviation, as everybody would know at the moment. They have a number of aeroplanes running or flying around across the globe in Europe, parts of North America, as well as in Asia. And currently, it boasts of the most, you can say, revered airlines in the sector, with extremely low debt, virtually debt-free company. There is debt, but considering the industry that it is in, it is considered as a debt-free company. Currently have global presence. It is a market leader in this space in India, and the market cap of the company is 53,000 crores. So it is a mid cap, but a larger mid cap in that sense. Coming to the financials of Interglobe Aviation, now this is December 20 numbers compared to December 19. So the sales have grown by 26%, which is quite decent compared to other companies. And the profit growth has been of 57%. It is nearly debt free, as I explained. So a profit growth of 57% augurs really well for the company. The ROE of the company is at 21% and operating profit margin is at 17%. So once you look at these numbers, it looks like numbers of a consumer company or consumer company which is doing relatively well, not magnificently, but relatively well. So considering that it is an airlines company and into an industry which is more capital intensive and which is concerned with a lot of external variables, the results of Interglobe Aviation are pretty good. If you look at the performance of the stock, then the stock has been range bound for the last 2 years. So currently the stock is trading around at 1600, 1650 levels. 2 years ago, it was also trading at around 1600 levels or so. So not much of a movement, but the stock has been extremely volatile over these years. We have seen levels of 850, 900. We have seen levels of 1900, 2000 in this period, and the stock moves in one direction or the other extremely quickly based on news flow. And that is one thing that I do not like about the airline sector, because there are many news flows or externalities that affect the stock price in the short term. And although we should not be concerned as to what happens in the short run being a long term investors, but I believe that such kind of volatility really takes a toll on the innocent investors or the retail investors. And that's why I consider going into stocks which are more linear in nature rather than volatile. Numbers have been strong over the last 1.5 years, and that's why the stock, whenever it falls because of any news, because of any promoter news, any issues with the fleet, or issues in the airline sector, ATF, and etc., uh, the stock comes back with a vengeance and comes back to its previous levels or passes that or surpasses those previous levels and goes to new highs. These are because of the numbers, because of the return ratios that the company have. The return ratios, as I explained just now, are pretty strong. Currently it is trading at 43 times earning, which I believe is reasonably priced or slightly richly priced. I do not think it is cheap at the moment to buy into interglobe aviation. uh, Another very positive thing about the company is that domestic institutional investments and FII investment is pretty big in this company. There is strong promoter holding, and so only 2% of free float is with the retail investors. And even though there is volatility in the stock, I believe having only 2% free float or even less than that augurs well for the company, that most of the shares are with you can say brokerage houses or other financial institutions, then FIIs, DIIs, and of course the promoters. So it won't be sold that immediately as other stocks would be. The dividend yield is pretty good and gives a consistent dividends to its investors. Coming to the issues with the airline industry, or what are the problems, although the performance and you looked at the current, you can say, stature of the company is pretty good. But there are difficult issues with the airline sector, and these are the major reasons why I do not like to invest in airline stocks, even though they have done, at least SpiceJet and Interglobe Aviation have done reasonably well over the last 3 4 years. Depreciating rupee. Rupee plays an important part in the life of an airline industry, and whenever the rupee depreciates, it has a added effect or added toll on the expenses of the company, because they buy oil uh, in dollars. So depreciating rupee would really hurt these companies, and that has what has been happening over the last 6 7 years. I've seen a rupee go from around 50 rupees to now 70 71 rupees. So if you look at a longer time frame, and we invest for a time frame of 6 7 years, and over that period you see that the rupee has gone down by 40%. That has a real effect on the profitability of a company like Interglobe Aviation. Second thing is the oil price fluctuation. Fluctuating oil prices really takes a toll on any airline company, because these oil prices are linked with the ATF, so air traffic fuel, or air transport fuel, I'm sorry, airline transport fuel, ATF prices. So the ATF prices goes up whenever the fuel prices goes up, and they relatively or seldom go down in that same manner. So one has to take that into consideration, that these are the things why volatility occurs. So yes, oil prices at $50 per barrel augurs well for Interglobe Aviation, and because of these viruses, you could say that the company might not be affected by the rising oil prices, but they are affected big time by what has happened with the lesser number of people traveling. So add to these 5 points would be the coronavirus scare, the scare that has taken place, and then more and more people are now not even traveling from one place to the other. And there are, I mean, airlines, or there are flights that are going 50%, 30%, like 30% occupancy, and that has really hurt the company badly. So one needs to take that into consideration as well, that these virus or these scares or the scare of coronavirus would hurt Interglobe Aviation very badly, because there will be lesser number of people traveling from one place to the other globally. Um, so these are at least three of the six reasons that I was trying to explain to you. So apart from higher oil prices or fluctuating oil prices, coronavirus, depreciating rupee, Higher ticket prices also hurt the company. So, ticket prices need to be scaled up because of these reasons if they are finding losses in one form or the other. And that has an effect on the occupancy rate. And once the occupancy rates go down, even higher ticket prices might not cover for the lesser occupancy. So, that is also a big reason for the companies. Issues or the sector's issues. Then there are seasonal issues. So a season of low, you can say, occupancy and low travel takes place around the year. So the season of holidays are more better. So from November, mid-November till end of Jan is a very good time for the airline industry. Then in India, probably late April till probably June, July is a good time. But between July till November, things are really bleak and things really go down. And during these unseasonal times, there are there could be real big trouble for airline company if the oil prices go up and the ATF prices go up, and then they cannot raise the prices of the tickets because already there is less occupancy of the seats in the fleet. So all these things come together, and that's why I believe that there are a number of variables that an investor has to take care of, and there is always one news or the other, whether positive or negative, coming out, and one has to be calm enough to take those news. And for somebody who is working class, who is going to office and taking care of kids, etc., they cannot afford, or he cannot afford to take another issue with any kind of his investment. And that's why I stay away from such stocks, even though I believe Interglobe Aviation is a very good stock to invest into. Then the company itself had fleet issues, so there were many flights of many, you can say, aeroplanes of Interglobe Aviation which got affected and which got grounded because of technical issues. So one has to take that into consideration as well, that there could be time to time many issues with the vehicle itself, and they can be grounded. There could be issues with countries treaties, and you could be traveling to one country about a week ago, and you could be avoiding that country or banned from that country because of political issues, and you might not be traveling there, and you could be losing revenue from that as well. So there are multiple kind of problems that could take place, or issues that could crop up for an airline company. If you look at the technical of the stock, the short-term support lies at around 1300, 1330 levels. So the currently the stock is around 1380 or so. Stock has given virtually no returns, as I explained in the last, you can say, last 2 years. So virtually 3-4% return. The 200 DMA is around 1530, so it is below the 200 daily moving average, very weak on charts, below the 200 DMA. And the stock is down 33% in the last 6 months, from a high of 1900, 1920. It is below 1400. So it is better to avoid the stock below 1500, and once it takes out 1500, then the move could be even bigger. So what needs to be done? Avoid as a long-term play. I do not consider it as a very good long-term play. If things really turn around politically, and we are seeing things happening globally because of tensions, etc., and global tensions, political tensions, one needs to avoid such industry, because you never know when things really get bad, and the stock may fall 50-60% in no time, and you won't be able to sell it. You won't have the time to sell it. Keep track of numbers, keep track of the developments. You can trade into the stock with a stop loss of 1280, yes, for 1500, 1550 levels, and so, and later on also trade into it once it crosses 1550 levels with a stop loss of 1480. But investing into such industry would would not be advised. Aviation has never been a wealth creator globally, and I do not see it being a wealth creator here in India because of multitude of problems. And you can look for other consumption play. There are many consumption play out of the 5,000 companies that are listed. So you look for those and have less than 5% exposure into the stock that you buy into. So this was my video on interglobe aviation. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you can get my videos straight away when I post it. Thanks a lot for watching.